Hello viewers, welcome. It's Aaron again, bringing you another random rambling video. I started this on Saturday. It is the 22nd day of November in 2025 at 12:30 p.m. Allow me to welcome you to my channel and to thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe before sharing this video and turning on the post notification bell. As I said, it is November 22nd, 2025. This marks the 62nd anniversary of the assassination of our 35th president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He was assassinated on this date in 1963, some 62 years ago exactly, by, depending on what you believe, Lee Harvey Oswald, a Russian somebody or another. I don't know what he was. Just some Russian person. He shot and killed, again, depending on what you believe, John F. Kennedy on this date in 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Now, I'm not one to get on board with conspiracy theories. I think most of them are wackadoodle. My sister, God rest her soul, had a real wackadoodle conspiracy theory about 9/11. She believed that George W. Bush took down those towers that day so that she, as she said, could continue her daddy's war in Iraq. Except that taking down the Twin Towers, taking down the World Trade Center Twin Towers would not have given him any reason to go into Iraq to finish his daddy's war, as she believed. So she just had another wackadoodle conspiracy theory, as a lot of leftists do. She was certainly a liberal, politically. I don't know about socially, but she was a definite politically liberal person. She voted Democrat across the board. Whereas at that point, I might have leaned to the left politically. Now, after that Tuesday, that fateful Tuesday in 2001, on the 11th day of September, I quickly started to lean to the right politically. After my president got up on a pile of rubble put there by some cowards and grabbed a bullhorn and assured the world that they'd hear from us for what was done to us. And I asked myself if a Democrat would do the same thing, and I assured myself he or she would not. So I can't get on board with most of the wackadoodle conspiracy theories out there, but one conspiracy theory I can get on board with is that Lee Harvey Oswald was not the lone shooter in the assassination of JFK. What are you doing?
I'm actually eating bread.
Bread? No. I'm making a video. Go away. I don't have any bread. Sorry. The fuck is wrong with the people around here? She wanted to know if I had any bread. The fuck am I gonna do with some bread? These begging motherfuckers around this shithole place. Anyway, I could get on board with the conspiracy theory that JFK is assassinator. How's it went? Assassin. There it is. Assassin. I could get on board with the fact that JFK's lone assassin was Lee Harvey Oswald. There was reports that smoke came and shots were fired from the grassy knoll, and that in the movie JFK, Oliver Stone creates a very strong argument as he presents the theory of what would have to be a magic bullet, a bullet that would have to have struck Kennedy and then turned around and went back up in the front seat and hit so-and-so in his left wrist, and then turned left and hit so-and-so in his right wrist, or whatever, however it went. Watch the movie JFK, and he talked about how JFK's head went snapped back into the left or whatever. He keeps saying it, back into the right, back into the right. They keep saying that over and over and over again. and they made a Seinfeld or a Steinfeld, no, a Seinfeld episode to mock the movie JFK. My left knee, I mean right knee, she's a hurting. He's a hurting. I don't want to piss it off by calling it a she. My right knee, he's a hurting. But apparently, on top of the near impossibility of taking 3 shots in the 1 second it would take for the 2 shots to be fired in, and to make them as accurate as they were, would take an extreme and apparently Lee Harvey Oswald was a marksman in the Russian army, but there apparently is some question as to whether that could be done, that could conceivably be done from the distance and the time in which it would have had to have taken place, with the type of rifle he was using, would have had to have used. He always claimed he was a patsy. I don't think he ever claimed his name was Patsy. I think he never changed the fact that his name was Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't know who this Patsy chick is, but he says that Patsy shot JFK. He said some chick named Patsy shot him, but I don't believe that for 1 second, Lee Harvey. I don't think they never found a Patsy. They found you, but they never found no Patsy girl that supposedly shot JFK. I don't think Annie Oakley could have made those shots, much less Patsy, whoever she was. You know, there was along with the magic bullet theory brought up by Oliver Stone in the movie JFK, and the fact that so many eyewitnesses said that there were shots fired from the grassy knoll, which I don't know exactly where the grassy knoll was located. And the Zapruder film shows him go forward and hold his throat, and then his head gets snapped back at that point. Back and to the right, I guess is what JFK keeps saying over and over. Back and to the right. I don't know if it was back and to the left or back and to the right, but you do see, after he leans forward holding his throat, where he was struck in the throat, his head snaps back, and the whole back of his head snaps off from the shot that went right through the back of his head. Man, it was brutal. Then to see Jackie Onassis Kennedy hop up on the trunk of the limo, or whatever type of vehicle it was, it did not have the protective bubble. It was apparently a nice day for being November. It was in Dallas, so it didn't have to be a cold day. Apparently it was a nice day, and he wanted the people to be more, closer to him by not having the big bubble that most of the time the president has. And so he just was in an open limousine or an open ride, whatever kind of car it was. I don't know if it was a limo, but he was open, and an open top, and then after his brains and the back of his skull flew off the back of his head, Jackie Onassis Kennedy went after it. She said later in an interview that she just felt like he would need that. He would definitely need that, but he would need it attached, and it wasn't. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. That was my impression of Forrest Gump, who, in the movie, met JFK, the president whom I'm speaking of. Our 35th president of the United States, the youngest person to be elected president of the United States. Not the youngest man to serve as president. That would be Teddy Roosevelt. When he was 42 years old, he served as president, but he was not elected president. He took over presidency after William McKinley was assassinated. I learned that last night. As I wondered if JFK was the youngest president ever, being just 43 years old. He was 46 when he was assassinated, but he took office at 43. So I wondered if that was the youngest president ever. And I learned that he was the youngest president to ever be elected, but not the youngest president to serve office. That was Teddy Roosevelt in 1901 after William McKinley was assassinated. Now, I don't know these things. I found out last night about these things. I would like to pretend like I just know all this information, but I don't. But talking about Forrest Gump, he did meet JFK in the movie. I remember this because I've seen the movie 1,000 times. He also met Tricky Dick Nixon. Tricky Dick Tricky Dick Nixon. Richard Nixon. He met JFK, Richard Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson. That was it. So I went to the White House again because I was thirsty and not hungry. I must have had me 15 Dr. Peppers. I think I gotta go pee. I believe he said he has to go pee. That was what JFK said to me. I think Lyndon B. Johnson's was the one who said that he would like to see that sometimes when he mooned him. He talked about how he shot in the ass. He said, I'd like to see that sometime, young man, or whatever he said. And then Forrest Gump turns around and bends over and exposes his butt cheek to him where he was shot. Oh, something bit me. That's what he exclaimed in the movie when he was shot in the buttocks. They said it was $1 million wound. But I guess the army keeps that, 'cause I never seen $1 of that. Well, he says 1 red penny of that money, I think is what he says. Who cares, really? And who cares about this video, really? Right? 62 years ago on this date, our 35th president, as I said, JFK was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald and somebody on the grassy knoll, depending on what you believe. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to see you when I see ya. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 fingers, A-Dub Club. See you when I see ya. Pizza roll. See ya, see ya, see ya. Peace.